Lodge has been wonderful. And because of some special people, uh, I think we really raised the bar this year. I want to thank Fuller Lodge for hosting this event in spite of the challenge of being under new ownership and all the things that happened.
Make sure it's close to the microphone.
Okay.
Good.
And I especially want to thank Diane Stoffel, who works for Fuller Lodge, put it all together, is going to do the online selling, loading. She works her off. And there's a couple other people that I want to acknowledge as well. Phyllis Gunderson was a co-chair this year. And she was awesome because she has all this technical knowledge and she can talk to Karen Halbert and they understand each other. I'm going. So I think she really raised the bar on this event. I also want to thank two really important volunteers that made it so much easier this year. The first one is Jennifer Leon, who did our fundraising. And because of her efforts, instead of having $600 in cash awards, we have $850 in cash awards. Thank you so much. And Art of the West did a cash donation, so thank them. See them. Subscribe to their magazine. And the second one is Joyce Laser. Joyce was my eyes and ears up here to help me with locations, the progression of the traffic circle, which didn't progress, going to the Chamber of Commerce with it to get the information that took a lot of grit because they were closed, didn't answer the phone, working from home, all the COVID stuff. Said, Joyce, thank you. Hey, Joyce! And I'll turn it over to Chris Monteith, the new executive director of Los Alamos Art Council, Fuller Lodge.
Good evening. My name is Chris Monteith, and I'm the Executive Director of Los Alamos Arts Council and Fuller Lodge Art Center. We are so excited to have this event with us today. It has been beautiful to watch the paintings start last weekend and be finished this weekend and up on our walls. And we're really honored that this is our second opportunity to host this event. It's just been beautiful.
Welcome to this event, and thank you all for all of your beautiful, beautiful work. You gave Jane Chapin, our esteemed judge, a tough time. And I'd like to introduce Jane, and because I can't commit all of her accomplishments to memory, I had to go get something in writing. I don't know if you all know this, but Jane originally hails from Pennsylvania and started painting at the tender age of 10. She took her classes. Her mother and her father were really quite encouraging to her endeavors in art. She is nationally recognized, internationally recognized, and she is a signature member of OPA, Oil Painters of America, signature member of Plein Painters of New Mexico, and I believe, are you a signature with the Impressionist and with the American Impressionist Society? I mean, when you look at that, that's an awful lot of accomplishment right then and there. She's exhibited in the Salon International, the International Guild of Realism, American Women Artists, and the Richard Schmid Fine Art Auction. Jane is not new to judging. She is in demand as a judge for regional and national events. In fact, she just was the entry judge for the Plein Air Painters of Colorado. And so we were quite honored to get her to be our judge of awards for this event. One last thing I'd like to say about Jane that you probably may not know is she's a published author. And she has published 3 bodies of work: Land of the Free, Gold Star Families Edition, Land of the Free, a painter's chronicle of our 50 states and their heroes, and a body of work, Tampa Bay Artists Interpret the Figure. I own 2 of those books, and I can tell you they're well worth your time to look at. She has really taken the soul of honoring our heroes and putting it into art and their stories. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Jane Chapin.
I had a workshop today, and as I told that group, plein air is not easy. And there are a whole lot of people around telling you that it should be easy, and it isn't. That you should just be able to take a couple of classes and pop these things out. And you really can. It takes a lifetime of work, and even after 20-some years of plein air, we all have big failures, and that's just part of it. So while I don't participate in the plein air events anymore, I do know what it takes to go into them. So without further ado, I'd like to get to the awards. 3rd place goes to Beth Ming Cooper. For this one's for Joe. It's a pastel. Now, this one you have to come up and look at, and get a close look at. It's got an incredible amount of texture to it. And one of the things that I talked to my class about today was foreground, middle ground, and background. It seems like a simple painting. It's a plant on a background. But then you look at the way that plant is drawn, the texture, the subtlety of that, and the fact that she did manage to get in such a small object foreground, middle ground, and background. So I think it's quite expertly done, and I congratulate her. I wish she was here.
A little bit about this painting that you might not know unless you know Elizabeth Beth real well. She's not here today because her best friend, husband, Joe, passed away. And he had a serious stroke while she was finishing this painting. And she named it in his honor.
Do we have the new car ready? Okay, this is for Looking Over the Rio, Medina Croce. I see you there. On that middle one. She's much taller. It would drag on the floor if I. Yeah, I don't need to. I'll help.
Oh, should I take the mask off? Wait.
There we go. We want to see that beautiful smile.
Then she's getting more pictures.
Some paintings hit you from across the room, and this is one of them. And then you go closer, and you see all this beautiful brushwork down in the foreground. The detail, but not over detail in all these rocks. The middle ground, right where it should be, and the background. And was it smoky that day?
Oh, yeah.
So, smoke was part of the landscape this year, and I thought we captured it brilliantly without overdoing it. I think the composition is wonderful. There's no duplication in the composition. It's very, very well done. So, congratulations. With all of these paintings, after I made my choices, I went back in. I came out, took a walk, and I went back in, and I took photographs. I took black and white photographs of them, and just to be sure, because you want to be sure. And then I compared them to some of the ones that were right behind them, and these 3 stood up very, very well. So Excellent job. Thank